Cummins Real Estate Group show with local rock star realtor Michele Cummins and myself, Curtis Pope. Good morning, Michele.
Good morning, Curtis. Happy Saturday once again to you.
And a happy Saturday to you. And I know we got to get right to it today because you've got a special guest.
Yes, we do, and we have our beautiful half-hour show, and I want to get as much questions in as much information from our guests as possible. So we welcome today Dustin Heiner, and Dustin Heiner, he has a really great history about him. He quit his JOB, that is acronym for just over broke, when he was 37 years old by investing full-time in real estate. He is the founder of Master Passive Income. You have to check out the website. And Successfully Unemployed. Definitely check that one out too. And he became one of the leading real estate rental property experts. Dustin wrote his first book, so cool. It's called How to Quit Your Job with Rental Properties, which quickly became a bestseller. Then he began helping others on how to start investing in real estate rental properties. And we have had a guest on the show before, and everyone knows how much I love real estate investing. And being a realtor, I'm in a job that I believe in, and I wholeheartedly believe in that. Again, my motto, one of them, is unlocking your real estate potential. So thank you for coming on as being a guest on our show today, Dustin. Welcome.
Thank you, Michele. I'm super excited to be here. And I love not just necessarily real estate. I love real estate, but it's also what it affords me to do. I basically just hang out with my family and just have a good time. So I don't have to work, which is that, you're right, just overbroke job. I really wanted to quit that. So thank you so much for having me on the show.
Absolutely. Chris and I are pretty excited to have you. We haven't had a lot of guests since COVID started for the last couple of years or so. So it's great to have you on. And you are calling in from the beautiful, sunny, warm Arizona. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Yes, I am in Phoenix, Arizona.
So nice. I was supposed to be there for one of the luxury forums, the RE/MAX conferences this month, actually, and I didn't get to go, but I'm living vicariously right now today through you because it's a little overcast here. You know, we get our beautiful tropical weather, but I love Arizona. So nice. I tend to wake up earlier when I'm in Arizona.
Oh, yeah, there's so much sun here. It's beautiful. And the wintertime is absolutely amazing. Like a high of 65 degrees, low of 55. It's just perfect here.
That's why you get so many of us Canadians down there in the winter.
Exactly. They call them snowbirds. They fly in here. They drive all around, clog up all the streets because there's so many of them around. But, hey, it's great. This is such a fantastic place to live.
Chris, have you ever been to Phoenix, Arizona?
I have not been to Arizona. I've been all up and down the west coast of the U.S., but I have not ventured far enough in to check out Arizona yet.
Definitely a stop you have to check out.
Well, I'm a big Western fan, and I know there's a little town there called Tombstone that I got to check out.
Oh, you're right. Absolutely. Super cool. There's so many things here in Arizona, especially like the Phoenix area within an hour, maybe 2-hour drive at most. There's so many things to see. So, yeah, you should.
Oh, the walks that you can take there, it's so beautiful. Okay, so Dustin, I wanted to get right into it. By the way, my nephew, his name is Dustin, and then I have another nephew named Dusty, so I really like your name.
I love it. Yeah, my given name is Dustin, but all my friends and family and people at church, they always call me Dusty because that's just what I go by. But, for business, I'm like, I got to be professional, at least somewhat. So I just go by Dustin.
Love it. It's a good name. So my first question to you is, when was the moment you knew that you wanted to be a real estate investor?
Oh, yeah. So growing up, I've always been entrepreneurial. So, it's 13 years old. I had a paper route where I would get the newspapers on my bike and bang garage doors with them. I had a graphic website design company. I had a keyboard manufacturing business, a convenience store, pizzeria. So I've always been entrepreneurial growing up. And as I was doing that, I thought, you know what, I might as well go ahead and invest in real estate. I heard it's smart to invest in real estate. So I bought one rental property, and I realized after buying one rental property that made me a minimum of $250,000 $250 a month in passive income. This one made me $387, I think, something like that, in the first month. And I thought, that's amazing. I can't believe how much money I make from without working, like literally without working. And so fast forward a little bit of time, I'm still working my normal job. So I used to work at the Fresno County, and I did IT or technology work at Fresno County. Like regular county job, sitting at a desk all day. And so I worked there 10, 12, 13 years, or however long, but a long time, building my career there. At the same time, trying to do other things, but I always thought, okay, a career working here is going to be fantastic. I'll be set for life. And my wife and I, we started having a family, kid after kid. Eventually, we had our fourth child. So I got to tell you the story because it really hits home for me how I became an investor, when I made that switch to become an investor. So my wife had our fourth child. So if you're watching this, you can see it in the background. You can see a picture of my four children. Well, when my fourth child was born, I went on paternity leave. Paternity leave is where you stay home with the mom, you bond with the baby, change diapers, all that good stuff. And then I get back after paternity leave. And that same week that I get back on a Friday at about 3:30 in the afternoon, I get a call from my boss's secretary, like the top dog. His secretary calls me up and says, Dustin, would you please come to the office? And I said, sure. And I hung up the phone. And I paused for a second. And I sit there in my chair and I started to think, why would they be calling me to the office? This isn't normal. This is weird. Okay. And then I paused a little bit longer and I remembered. Before I went on paternity leave, about 2 or 3 months prior, there were some rumors or some rumblings that possible layoffs were coming because the department and the county was running low on money. And so I immediately shut that off. I'm like, no way. I've been here 13, 14 years, and I have great seniority. No way it's me. So I get up, and I walk down the hall to my boss's office. Now, this hallway isn't very long. But every single step I take, it feels like my feet are lead bricks. They get heavier and heavier. And that hallway, it feels like it's getting longer and longer as I walk down the hallway because the weight of the world seems to start falling on my shoulders because I start thinking, my goodness, if I get laid off right now, what's going to happen to me and my family? What am I going to do? Well, I make it through the hallway, and I turn the corner, and my boss's door is closed, and his secretary's looking at me. And sheepishly, she says, Dustin, would you please have a seat? So I take a seat, and I smile, and I say yes, and I take a seat. And she's grinning at me kind of sheepishly, and she's trying to console me with her eyes because she knows everything that's going on. I know nothing about what's going on. And as I'm sitting there, I start thinking, if I get laid off right now, how am I going to be able to provide for my family? Does it make me a failure as a father, a failure as a husband, as a man providing for his family? All these years of working toward this career, is that going to be taken away from me? Well, as I'm sitting there, my hands get all clammy, my forehead gets all sweaty because there's just all these thoughts are going through my head. And then my boss's door opens up, and out walks a lady, a coworker of mine, with a piece of paper in her hands, and she's noticeably distraught, noticeably upset, but she's not necessarily crying, but you can tell her world has absolutely been rocked. And as she passes by me, my boss says, Dustin, would you please come into the office? I say, sure, and I walk in the office, and I get laid off. Apparently the department is running low on money. And so I get laid off, and I walk back to my desk, and I sit down, and I realize two things right there, Michele. Number one, I need to get another job. I need to be able to provide food for my family, roof over my head. And so I was really blessed, praise the Lord, to be able to find a job very, very quickly in the same county. Another department was hiring, the sheriff's department, great job. So I was able to transfer. They didn't get laid off, so that was a huge blessing. But the second thing that I learned there, I want everybody else to learn this as well, I learned that I need to make sure that I never, ever let this happen to me again. Never have anybody have the ability to take the rug out from under me so I can't feed my family ever again. So right then and there, I made the decision, to go answer your question, I made the decision right then and there to, instead of when somebody asks me, Dustin, what do you do? I would normally say, I work for the county government, I do IT work, but they're basically asking me, and when they ask you that, they're asking you the value that you put on yourself. Like, what value do you put on yourself? And so no longer did I ever say I work for the county government. I now say I am an investor because I knew that's something I needed and wanted to do, but I never really went full force into it. I had a property or two, and I just didn't really go forward into it. And so this made me, I'm now an investor. It may so happen that 100% of my money comes from my job. That's now my side job. I am a full-time investor. Now, what I did was I went to work at this other department, bought property after property after property. after 30 plus properties, I literally had so much money coming in that even though I was making $75,000 a year working for the county there, I said, I'm losing money here. I'm going to quit. And so this is, I'll round up the story show to share that I went to my boss's office, my new boss, great boss and everything. I said, hey, boss, I'm getting you a 2 weeks notice. You're getting laid off. And so I leave my office for the last time, and I'm walking downtown Fresno. I didn't want to pay for parking, so I parked about a mile and a half away. And I'm walking, done this walk 1,000 times. And this walk, I feel like I am walking on clouds. If you remember back when I was walking down the hallway with lead bricks, now I'm walking away from my job, walking on clouds, because everybody needs to realize this, and this is what I realized. I need to get paid for the value that I bring, because here, I realize this. A job is just over broke. And so as everybody realizes that your boss is only paying you enough money to keep you working without quitting, but not so much that takes money out of their pocket. So you need to realize that your value is in who you are. My value comes from my God, from my family, and from myself. And so for everybody listening to this and watching this, I want you to realize that you are worth so much more than anybody can ever pay you. And from there, I just kept buying more properties and buying more properties. Eventually, I have so many properties. I was like, man, this is fantastic. And I have people asking me, well, how can I do it? Can you show me? That's when I started Master Passive Income. So there's probably a lot of questions, or you have other questions. So I'll pause there to share. That's how I got into investing.
Wow, Dustin. And you were 37 years old when you quit that job. And
yep,
when you started walking on clouds. And it just hits home. My heart is so warm right now, because what you did and what you share and what you give to others is to let them understand and know that they can do it too. I say anybody could make wealth in real estate. It just takes the steps of doing it. And you know what? Sometimes some tough times we go through causes great things to happen in our lives. And this is what happened to you. You had that feeling, oh my gosh, am I going to lose my job? And it made you rethink everything. And your acronym, the JOB, the just over broke, what you explain there and how you explain that, it's so true.
Thank you. Yeah, it's something that as I was buying property after property, I just absolutely realized that life is so much more important than my job. And I'd rather spend it with my family. I'd rather be serving other people, helping out at my church and doing other things. And when I was able to quit my job, I realized, my goodness, I could travel the world, but then I could also serve more people.
Yeah, and that was right for you in your moment and what you were doing and what you were supposed to do. And it's amazing. Okay, when we come back from the break, I do have a few more questions for you.
All right, good. Take a quick break right now. Michele, if people want more information about what you do as a realtor, where can they go?
MicheleCummins.ca.
We'll be back with more right after this.
She's a somewhere girl. She's a somewhere
And we are back with segment number 2 of the Cummins Real Estate Group show with Michele Cummins and myself, Curtis Pope. And, of course, we have our special guest as well. And, Michele, I know you have lots of questions to get into, so I'm not going to hold you back.
Yay. Okay, Dustin, I wanted to ask, what do you wish you had known when you started real estate investing?
That is one of the best questions, because I did everything wrong when I first started. I started in California when I first started investing, and I knew in 2006 when I first started investing, I couldn't buy a property and make passive income. And I had to go someplace else. I flew to Ohio. I'll round out quickly. Sorry, don't do it this way. But flew to Ohio, found a property manager, found a realtor, put them all together, and I bought my first property. Was making a little bit of money. Then my property manager started stealing from me, like within 6 months. So it was really, really bad. So don't let that deter you. But I'm going to tell you the right way to remember. That was the wrong way. The right way is what I wish I would have known when I first got started. Now, if you remember at the beginning of the show, I said that I'm very entrepreneurial. I love business. I love business processes and making sure things run without me. I love that. And so what I wish I knew, and this is something I teach all of my real estate coaching students. I even have students that are in Canada that invest in America, which is fantastic as well. And so all my students, I teach them, what we do is we build the business first. So we build the business first. Now, what other people might teach you if you're going to be investing in real estate, buying a rental property, they'll say, find a property, run the numbers, make sure you're making $50 or $100 a month in passive income. Then you find somebody to fix up the property. Then you find somebody to manage the property. Then you find somebody to lease the property. Well, in my opinion, that's almost backwards. What we do at Master Passive Income is teach how to build the business first. Now, let me show you exactly what that looks like. So if you're going to start a convenience store, a convenience store, basically, fountain drinks, candy bars, all that sort of stuff. If you're going to start a convenience store, you're not going to sign a lease on a property and open the doors and put a box of candy bars in there. If you do that, you'll go out of business in 2 seconds. No, what you do instead is you'll get the gondolas. Those are the shelving units. You'll get the countertops, the cold storage, the fountain machines, the bank accounts, the cash registers, employees, all of that before you buy any inventory. Same thing with real estate investing, because I didn't do this in the beginning. Now this is what I do, is I build the business first. Same thing with, we don't look at properties first. A lot of people say, well, I found a bunch of realtors, they're finding me deals. I'm like, that doesn't matter. If you don't have anybody to manage those properties, you're going to be out of luck. So what we do is when we build the business first, let's say we find an area of the country to invest. I invest all over the country. I have students that invest literally all over the country, no matter where they live. We invest thousands of miles away. But when we build the business first, we find the property managers, the contractors, the realtors, wholesalers, inspectors, plumbers, roofers, insurance agents, like literally everybody in the business before we buy the property. Now, what that really looks like is we are hiring experts to do this business for us. Now, if you do it backwards, the way that other people do it, my opinion, backwards, where you just find a property, buy it, then you find somebody, then you find somebody, then you find somebody, what's going to happen is it might turn about, and this happens a lot, and sadly, it's good for me, it's sad for other people, but I buy properties off of people that do this the wrong way. The wrong way is to do it backwards. The right way is to hire the experts, because Zillow, if you look at Zillow.com, that's not the expert. Redfin, Realtor.com, all these other sites, those are not the experts. Who are the experts? Those are the people on the ground that are actively working in that. Like your realtors, they are actively working in that area. They know, they have their ear on the ground. They know exactly what's going on. Same thing with their property managers. So what we're going to do is we're going to build the business first. We're going to check. Realtor, how much is this going to rent for? Realtor, how much is this going to, what type of tenant am I going to get? What's the class of this area? Property manager, will you actually manage the property? Because it's sad. You get a lot of people, or I hear of a lot of people, buy a property, fix it up, spend thousands of dollars, but then try to find a property manager and can't find one. Either that there's all the property managers are saying, well, I won't manage it because it's in a bad area, or you can't find a good one. You find one that they're bad, they fall off. Find one that bad, they fall off. What we do, we find everybody first. We interview them, highly interview everybody, and then we build the business. Then what it looks like is we build the business, and then we put a piece of inventory, which is one property, into that business. And then we can scale it by buying a second property, putting that into the business, because your property is not your business. Your business owns inventory, and those properties are your inventory. So that's the thing that I wish I would have known from the very beginning.
Words of wisdom. It takes a village to be successful, and it takes a team, and you got to build that first. It's your foundation, and you'll be so much more successful, so much quicker. Thank you for that advice. That's really good. I wanted to ask you, when you were telling your story about why you became a real estate investor, what made you decide to do that, do you have any history, like any family in real estate who did this?
So that's also another great question. So my dad was a contractor. So in high school growing up, I'd be working in Fresno, which is really, really hot in the summer, banging nails on the slabs. It's like 110 degrees. And so in general, I liked the idea of homes. I thought this might be good, be a builder. But never had any realtors, any investors. I literally said, you know what? I want to do this. Actually, what really got me to the idea of possibly doing this in passive income was reading Rich Dad Poor Dad. That was a fantastic book that got me thinking, eventually I would like to do this. Then I bought my first property, realized how amazing it was. I make $250 a month. Now here, Michele, this is when I said, I'm going to quit my job. And so I want to quit my job, but with investing in real estate. So I realized if I make a minimum of $250 a month from one property, that's $3,000 a year without working. Remember, we have the other people do the work for us. 10 properties is $2,500 a month. That's $30,000 a year. 20 properties is $5,000 a month, $60,000 a year. You just scale it up from there. So, no, I didn't have anybody, but I said, you know what, I'm going to do my best. I learned from my mistakes as well as learn from podcasts and books and all that sort of of stuff.
So that leads me to ask you, if you don't mind sharing with us, what type of real estate investments do you do, and how many doors do you have, and how long do you typically keep your investments?
So I'll start backwards. I keep my investments almost forever. If you're looking at the big screen, like if you're watching this, you can see my kids in my background. I literally do not invest for appreciation. In fact, that's another second thing that you should not do. In fact, when I started investing in 2006, the values of my houses were really high. Then it crashed in 2008, which was fine. I still made money in passive income. And then now, every single month, whether it went up, market went up, down, or sideways, I make money. And with that, I realized all this passive income, all my properties are literally double in the amount of rent I can rent it for. Plus, the value itself has gone up. I can literally and will literally give these to my children that are, I have 4 kids. I'm going to teach them how to do it and give these properties. So, number one, I don't sell them. Number two, how many properties is, I have over 30 properties now, and I'm really blessed. I only have, well, when I was quitting my job, my wife is very, very frugal and risk averse. And so she said, well, let's pay off a lot of these mortgages. I said, no, we could buy more properties with that money. She said, no, in order for you to quit, you have to pay off. You got to get rid of some of the payments of debt. So anyway, we're blessed to only have one mortgage on one property and a bundle loan, a commercial loan over 4 different properties. So all the 30 plus properties are literally paid for. Yeah, it's a blessing. And then the last thing is the types of homes: 3-bedroom, 2 baths, 1 to 2 car garages, 1,200 to 1,500 square feet. And then I like residential. So 4 units, 3 units, 2 units, and 1 unit. I love those. Once you get to 5 units above, it's multifamily, which is it's great. Don't get me wrong, fantastic. A whole lot of new things. So that's what I usually look for, and that's all over the country.
Okay, another question for you is what resources, because I know you've written a book and you have trained and you continue your education, but what resources for maybe those new real estate investors or those wanting to invest that's listening today, do you advise for real estate investing? What do you recommend?
So I definitely love podcasts. I love listening to podcasts personally, and so if you're listening to this, you probably enjoy that too. So I love just giving out lots of free information. And so with my podcast, it's literally just me teaching real estate because, Michele, you'll understand this. I can literally teach anybody how to invest in real estate, but getting them over that hurdle so that they can realize that they can do it. Like when I lost my job, realized I'm going to do it. That is all on them. So what I do is I really just give so much free information from my YouTube channel to my podcast, Master Passive Income, as well as I have a real estate investing course. I could literally give everybody for free. Do you mind if I share that with everybody?
Yes, please do.
Awesome. Yeah, if you go to masterpassiveincome.com/free course, masterpassiveincome.com/free course, it's all one word. It's a robust course that's literally going to show you how to build a business first, find the right properties, hire everybody right, scale your business, do everything right. I literally give you checklists and all that sort of stuff. I just want to have as many people get going as possible. But that's the biggest thing for me. It's just getting as much information, learn as much as I can. So I've been giving as much as I can. But there are also plenty of other great podcasts, YouTube channels that literally teach us as well.
Oh, I love podcasts, obviously, and just there's so much on your drive, as you're working out, in the bathtub, whatever, having a walk. It's great. Thanks for that, because there are a lot of resources out there. And thank you so much for being on our show. Wish we had longer to spend, but we'll definitely have to have you back because there's a lot more questions I have for you, and I'm sure there's a lot more to share that you have to share.
I'd love to be back on. Thank you.
Thank you, Dustin. So I have, of course, an open house I wanted to share about that's coming up on Sunday, tomorrow from 2 to 4. It's at 32731 Adams Avenue. And this is a beautiful house. It's so cute. It's like as cute as a button, I call it. It's a 6,000 square foot lot, and the price is $750,000. And the house is just under 800 square feet. It's got a single garage detached. It's got a fun rec room, a separate shop in the back. It's got a higher deck area, and it's a great, cute little place in Mission. So open house tomorrow from 2 to 4, and then coming soon, next week, I've got a 2-story house on Mount Woodside coming in the community called Harrison Highlands. If you haven't heard of it, it's where you live, where you play, and the eagles soar, and the hang gliders jump off and go over the community, and the views of the mountains are fantastic. It's really a beautiful place. That's coming up next week. Keep an eye on that. And then on the front page of the Real Estate Weekly. This week is my 10-acre property off Ridgeview Road, which is 5 properties away from the beautiful Cascade Falls. This is a wonderful acreage. It could be subdividable, and it is on for $1,575,000. It's a beautiful basement entry home with an in-law suite and an amazing, gigantic shop that has a hoist in it, and it comes with a generator, and it's just amazing. It's got barns and gardens. It's fantastic. So thank you for listening to our show this week. We can't wait to have you back next week, and our quote of the week is, fall is about releasing the old to make way for the new. So dream on, release some things, and move on to a fresh new start, everyone.
Very nice indeed. If people are looking to maybe move on from where they lived somewhere else, I'm thinking you could help them with that. Where can they go for more information?
MichelleCummins.ca.
And join us again next week when we will talk real estate in order to unlock your real estate potential on a show where real estate is maximized. Thanks for listening.